His ideas revolutionized society's understanding about sex, but they were based on fraudulent data. And this is more disturbing. He also used pedophiles to conduct research on child sexuality. And this is what this graph is. This is from his book, Sexual Behaviors in the Human Male, published in 1948. Title is Examples of Multiple Orgasm in Pre-Adolescent Males. The ages range from 5 months to 14 years. That box there is the 5 months to 4 years old. And you see here as an example, the 11-month-old had 10 orgasms in 1 hour of stimulation from an adult male. Now, if that doesn't turn your stomach,
is that what they're doing in public schools right now?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it.
Because that's crazy.
Okay, I want to hear y'all start answering our questions.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Please continue.
This is extremely pertinent.
It's explosive so that you'll get a gross feeling in your stomach when we talk about present day stuff.
We're talking about some guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we keep it level down, please? Excuse me, can we keep it down, please?
Okay.
Let them speak, and then I'm sure everybody get a chance to talk.
Okay. The
Please, everybody
agreement here
disrespect each other.
is that you are going to give her the chance to present. If you don't want to do that, then please leave. Is that clear?
You booked a room in a public library.
This is an objective meeting.
We're part of this group by being here, so.
Are you going to let her speak, or are you going to leave?
Okay, they're going to answer the questions.
We said at the beginning that we will have a question and
They're going
answer
to answer
session.
the questions.
All right, thank you. Just continue, all right?
So one person that carried on Kinsey's philosophy was Mary Calderon. She worked alongside with Kinsey's direct associate and created SECUS, the Sexual Information and Educational Council of the U.S. They create the national standards for sexual education in schools. So you can see exactly how it is tied with Kinsey and his beliefs and his work. And they've been doing these guidelines for the past 50 plus years. And these are the guidelines that AISD is implementing into their curriculum.
The same exact guidelines?
Excuse me?
The same exact guidelines as.
Okay, listen.
I just want to clarify.
We have said several times that the questions will come at the end.
She said guidelines. I just want to clarify.
Okay, all right, right,
I'm
okay.
not saying anything else.
All right, do not interrupt once more, okay?
Okay, so the SECUS publishes guidelines. AISD is aligning with them.
It's not always appropriate for all children. I do not want my children in communal sex education. So I should have the right to opt out my children.
You do have the right to opt out your child.
All right,
They're letting people know they do have the right.
Okay, yes, sir, what is your
My name is Patrick, and y'all quote a lot of talking points on the website here from the American College of Pediatricians. Did y'all know that that is an organization of 500 members that has been designated as a hate group from the SDLC?
Does label organizations, and we're very familiar with the controversy. Thank you.
Focus on the Family is also
Excuse
designated
me.
as a hate group.
We should
We're
take
aware that that is the
questions.
perception.
And I come from a non-traditional family. My sister and my mother and my 9-year-old nephew moved in with me 2 years ago. I'm really concerned of this underlying tone of traditional families. Why aren't you all being inclusive of these kind of families and just the non-traditional family? I mean, I don't have a partner, husband, sadly, but there are other families that have 2 moms, 2 dads, what have you. I'm really concerned that what you're putting out there is harming children. You may say that you're not for, you want to stop bullying of all kinds, but your rhetoric belies that. I want to know why you aren't being more inclusive of LGBTQ families and just regular non-traditional families.
I want children not to engage in sexual activity. So
Well, I think we're on the same wavelength on that, but that's not what this is about.
But it is. But that's what it's about to me.
That's your
what it's
problem.
about to us.
That's
In my
really gross
relationship,
that that's
you
what you
automatically
think.
go
And
to
this
sex.
meeting isn't
That's
for you.
your problem.
Oh, it's not for us.
The gist,
Actually, it's
I
for the
think the gist
public.
of the meeting, I have a 5-year-old son just got out of pre-K, and the gist of the meeting, what I get is, I want to know what's coming down the pipeline for him in his education, and that I have a choice.
Yes, you can opt out.
Wasn't the
I don't think you
mechanism
saw
to
what they were
concern
presenting
And
about.
that's what I'm concerned about.
Okay, so you have to agree with you to be concerned?
No, they came here to talk to me about
They came here
it.
to talk to all of us. You? Oh, I'm sorry I came. Forgive me, I thought this was open to the public.
It was.
It was until we started disagreeing.
Question and answer.
That's what I have.
No. I didn't. We have a right to say what we can say too.
Yeah.
How about a show of hands if this is garbage?
Right here!
Sorry.
You guys are done?
I just wanted to say, just to remind you that at the end of the day, this is about kids.
I just want to let you know the vast majority of the people in this room do not agree with your agenda.
We're trying to conduct a meeting.
We do. We do actually.
get informed.
We do have kids in the school district.
I bet they'll give you like an email address.
Yeah, I want to get informed.
You can also opt out if you don't like the sex ed program. You can fully opt out.
It's actually really easy to
It's really easy. They send a form home, you say yes or no.
And put on your own meeting, please feel free.
Invite the public.
This is a good time.
We are the public.
Do you not have a house or something to do this in? Or to educate your children in your own
I
house?
just wanted to share with y'all that
About, from what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm hearing it wrong, but that you're against teaching, letting kids know that it's okay to feel different in your body, like if you have a penis and maybe it shouldn't be there, and you're telling them that that's not necessarily okay. And you're telling them that it's not necessarily okay to have two moms, or that it's not okay to be gay, but like, you're saying you want to fix this problem and make sure that everyone feels okay and comfortable. But what about those kids? And those kids happen and exist. I know lots of them in my life who come out when they're babies. Like, there are children who, like, I have friends who told me, I knew when I was 5. And that's talking about trans issues and talking about LGBT, like gay, lesbian. And those kids also deserve to have teachers who say, you know what, it is okay. Here's a book. Here's 10 books. And your classmates should have some ability to be able to treat you with respect instead of saying, why is Johnny wearing a dress and peeing in a different bathroom? So how do you counter that? Because those kids deserve rights too.
I can speak to that easily, starting with, well, I taught a lot of different grades, but I finished with pre-K, right? And I love those kids, no matter where they came from, whose parents they were. That didn't change a thing. I have had friends that are, live a different lifestyle than I do. They're my friends, okay? Sure. And, you don't have to have a special program in school that gives them special attention to appreciate one another. It's like the golden rule. It's free. Treat somebody the way you want to be treated.
And I agree with that.
And that's what we do.
But I don't, you're right. I think teachers do a
That
good
work
job of
wouldn't have
that.
any
But
programs.
I think that a lot of kids don't walk away with that, and that's why, like that, I mean, since the bathroom bill got introduced, the Trevor Project has documented in Texas alone, suicide rates in trans kids have spiked. That's since January. And I know that they're a really small population, so they should all think it's okay because it's only like 1%. So really, I mean, it's fine. Like, do you feel that way about like other like minorities? It doesn't sound. I'm not calculating how that's.
So we're against bullying of any group in any way, and we're very sensitive, obviously, to the suicide issues and sexual abuse. The sex trafficking. It's crazy. But the problem is that we can't introduce programs that over-sexualize kids and actually encourage them to initiate sexual activity earlier than they're ready, or to have those discussions. And when parents are having tough discussions at home, our teachers need to respect that, okay? But they don't need to be fueling it, and it's not up to the school. Again, communal sex education and these communal ideas is not how to get the situation in the homes fixed. So I think Austin ISD, in an effort to address bullying, probably overstepped some bounds there. And like I said, I think they violated Texas Education Code 2800.
Just teaching children that LGBTQ people exist, just exist and deserve respect, a moral opinion, and how does that lead to the over-sexualization of children? How does it actually lead to the over-sexualization of children? Not the anecdotal pearl clutching that we've had to listen to for the past however long that we've been here. How does it actually lead to that?
My experience, and again, back to, it's important that we all teach our children and we all reflect respect for each other, respect and love for each other, regardless of things that we disagree on, right? And so I think role modeling that to our children across the board is most important. The problem comes, for us at least, I know, is that when LGBT started showing up in the school, in the middle school, for example, somebody had to define that to the kids. And so what we had was we actually had a staff person who taught the kids what L, what G, they taught the kids that. And sometimes these were kids who didn't even know, and I know this sounds crazy to some people, but they didn't even know like how babies were made yet. Like they didn't know some of those things. And so parents were alarmed, they were shocked that this education was going on. And so
you can explain all of those without talking about sex.
Well,
And that's not why we're here today.
So every dad one of those
that's-
mommy and mommy. You can explain without talking about sex.
So they are.
Yes, you can. Well, we wouldn't be here today if that's all that's happening.
I know you can.
And I'm not saying that's all that's
I
happening, but this point has
disagree.
come up and it's one that I specifically want to address.
So I am, and I want to respectfully disagree. I believe that in the definitions of the letters and the words, that they are sexual terms.
So in other words, you don't have an answer.
from.
But I have the right to raise my children that way.
That's fine, but
And
you do
the
not
right to-
have a right to bully the children of other people within the public school
I
system.
don't want
Nobody's
any
bullying
children
by
bullied.
giving facts.
I don't want any children.
Those aren't
bullied.
facts.
Those are
Those are facts.
Those are not facts.
LGBTQ is also a fact.
Right, right, and if we were only talking about defining LGBTQ in a neutral, objective way, we wouldn't be in this meeting. So it is attached to a loaded agenda. And it's very, very much.
Who's making it
No,
up?
I didn't attach it, I'm just responding to what has
So
come.
I understand that you're not happy with my answer, but if we could go to the next question.
No, I
Yes, sir.
wanted your answer
Okay.
because it was.
What is your name, sir?
It is true.
Ron?
Is the
You know,
first
Texas has got the
meeting, you're
worst
not pretending.
teenage and pregnancy and whatever, it's lousy. Colorado offered free contraception. Their pregnancy rate has dropped by 40%, abortions have dropped by close to that number also. So how do you guys feel about that avenue for kids in high school? Free contraceptives to reduce abortions and STDs.
Those don't address the emotional harms.
So that's all, so the fact that
That's
we
just one
reduced
study.
abortions doesn't mean anything.
So reducing risks is not teaching children to avoid risks.
Well, I think this is a lot of goober talk. And I
We have about, how long left?
Let's just take a 5 more minutes. I do want to say one thing in response to that. The research is all over the place in terms of which states have put in which kind of programs and whether the pregnancy and abortion rates go up or down. 2 states taken out, isolated from the others, can afford a pretty stark contrast. But for instance, internationally, a lot of the research that came from groups like the Red Cross and stuff like that in Africa is that often providing contraceptives in many different geographical locations, what has happened is it increases the rate of pregnancy and abortion. You can't create a very clean and simplified statistical model based on a huge population and so many different communities.